You're looking live at college football's greatest podcast on a Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and with nobody watching. All right. That said, let's bring on our first co-host. Should we give him an introduction? Of course, we should give him an introduction. Our next co-host says the West Coast is the best coast. He's so cool. Snap on name to color after him. And you can't spell Santa Cruz without S and C. Please welcome to the show, Cool Jude Santa Cruz.
Hey, what's up, guys? How's everyone doing today? Fight on. What's up, Cass?
You look a little different there, Jude. Something going on?
Just
Well,
preparing
you don't
for
have any
Halloween.
facial hair. I don't think I've ever seen you without facial hair.
Oh yeah, I messed up this morning trimming it up, but it'll be ready for Hollywood Hogan. This is ready for Hollywood Hogan. I already talked to my barber. He's gonna do this all right here. I'm gonna have this growing out a little bit.
Good deal. All right. So we got another co-host tonight, and we're missing one, and I'll talk to y'all a little bit about that whenever I bring on our next co-host. So our next co-host is one quarter of the greatest college football podcast of all time. He's the pride of Texas State Bobcats. He's my favorite football player of all time. Please welcome Hunter. What's up, bud?
Not much.
What's up, Hunter?
Sound good?
Sound great.
All right. So everybody's going to ask, where is Lindsey? Well, Lindsey went ahead and he's going to have the operation. He's going to change over to a woman, but he's going to keep the name. All right.
Oh,
Now, Lindsey's got something really cool. Something very cool happened to him today, or this week. Jude and Hunter know this, but Lindsey is now officially a grandfather. So everybody in the crowd, let's give a 2 thumbs up, a clap, or something to Lindsey. Grandpa Lindsey. I don't know what they're going to call him. Grampy Coyle? I don't know. Golf clap. Let's golf clap on 3. 3, 2, 1, golf clap. All right. Anyways, I digress. Golf claps are in play. Lindsey's a grandfather. It's a great day. All right. From, let's see here. From the weekend, we have winners and losers, our pregame show, our pregame portion. Jude, give me a winner from last weekend. Who was the big winner from last weekend?
Biggest winner I have is a team that in their locker room his coach told their players, you know what? That Midwest team going on, with this coach with the fancy hats and fancy glasses, they are a great story. But we here on the West Coast are a great program. And we are going to go in and we are going to do what we do. And we are not going to let Coach Prime leave here undefeated. And the Oregon Ducks clobbered Coach Prime. I mean, absolutely destroyed him. And I think that's one of my big winners of the week.
Very cool. Very cool. Hunter, give me a loser from last week.
I'll get back to you on that.
All right. I'm going to give myself a winner here. The big winner last week was the Alabama Crimson Tide. Come off the schneid. They beat a really game opponent. It's a tough game, but Alabama showed that they're for real still. They came out and handled business against Mississippi State.
Oh,
All right, Hunter's waving me down like he's trying to sell me flowers on the side of the road. What you got, bud?
So I'll go with a loser from last week would be Oklahoma State. Well, a game that on paper looks like it was exciting, and probably I did watch it back. It wasn't that bad. They did lose to Iowa State, who the week before lost to Ohio. Not Ohio State, just Ohio.
You're talking about the Bobcats. Not the Texas State Bobcats.
The green variety Bobcats.
The Frank Solich DWI Bobcats.
Yeah.
All right, gotcha.
That's just a loser that just came to mind.
All right, Hunter, with that said, give me a big winner from last week.
big winner. Did we already talk about Oregon?
Yes.
Uh,
The,
I'll go with
the
Washington
hostess
State
from the
then.
West Coastess let us
I'll
know about
go.
Oregon.
Well, I'll go back to the West Coast for Washington State. In a game that was the Pac-2 championship, Pac-2, between Oregon State and Washington State.
Hey, that was we talked about this on Saturday night. That was probably my favorite banner I've seen in a long time, where the fans had the Pac-2 championship banner up,
That was great.
holding it up.
That was
That was
great.
awesome. Yeah, Washington State came away with they were I think the spread, like the final spread was Oregon State -5 or something like that. I would have to look. But basically they weren't favored to win, and they dominated most of the game. And the final score is a lot closer than the game was. Oregon State did throw up some late numbers to try and close the gap. They did have a chance to win. I won't take that away from them, but I really think that Washington State showed off just how good they really are. Cam Ward is making a quiet case for Heisman consideration. I mean, so is the rest of the Pac-12 apparently. So we'll see how that goes on the rest of the season. But
I
again,
bet you
Washington
couldn't. I
State
bet you
really
couldn't
showed
name any more than 6 quarterbacks from the Pac-12.
out. What? Of course I can.
I'm kidding, but I'm only serious.
Cam
All
Ward,
right.
Shadur Sanders.
Jude, give me a big
Okay, what?
loser from last week.
Big loser is Notre Dame coaching staff in a crucial part of a game that would have put them on the map and set them up to play USC in a couple weeks, being undefeated. Now they're probably going to end up losing to Duke too. But man, how do you play the last two plays of the season with 10 defenders on the field? You know, inside the 5-yard line.
This should be the opening noise for the coaches meeting.
You suck.
Oh man,
my goodness! Talk about, that's not good. And everybody knows I'm a Golden Domer fan. I was not overly impressed by that, and they played no, they didn't. Offense looked like they really played it close to their vest. They did not try to win that game. They tried to do everything but win the game. And playing with 10 players will do that. All right. So I gave y'all a big winner from last week. Now I need to give y'all a big loser from last week. We're going to go to the state of Texas. And I'm going to say the University of Baylor. They got thumped. They
Baylor
got pushed
University.
around. Whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter if you're a Texas fan. Their games don't matter. They got thumped big time. Big time. You want to see what the SEC defense looks like? It was in Austin. Or Waco. Excuse me. But, we could have done the game of the week. That didn't matter. I told Jude this last week. I'm like, oh, man, I could have totally tricked y'all, too. I could have said the away team has orange and the home team has gold on their helmet. I would have sunk y'all because I had Iowa State and Oklahoma State. And y'all would have been like, it's Texas and Baylor.
yeah, I know.
I could have put the old bamboozle on y'all, but anyways, like I said, there we go. So we got a pretty fun show today. No Lindsay, that kind of sucks. We're gonna hop through. We got to talk about something real quick. 50. We are at 50 subscribers. Okay, so there's kind of an issue going on right here. And what I'll say is we would have our special guest on this week, but I talked to him 3 weeks ago. I talked to Jude and Lindsay about it, but Hunter was gone. And I can't – Hunter's part of the show, so I can't not interview our big guest without Hunter. It works out that Lindsay wasn't here because I wasn't able to get our big guest this week. I could have gotten another one, but I figured we'd lead from the front. Now, we're going to run into maybe a small, tiny little issue next week.
Raw.
And that is, it's Texas OU week. So I don't know if he's going to be available or not. But I think what we're going to do is I think I'm either going to try to bring on one of two former players of mine that played college football, and we're going to interview them. So Hunter's friends with both of them, so it'd be a good time letting them reminisce. So you may hear some things about Hunter you didn't know.
Looking forward to that. I really am.
But I just need to. I know for sure that one of them. He said he come on. He might actually join us as a part-time, full-time guest or
Oh,
co-host.
that would be awesome. That
Yeah,
would be great.
it just depends on. So he's
I didn't
coaching
really
a
do
Someone could pick up
youth
my
football
slack.
team right now.
either direction. I was there.
What's that?
Say someone can pick up my slack, and trust me, I'm trying, man. I actually have notes today. I'm trying to not look.
Y'all-
I'm trying to keep up.
Y'all
with
almost y'all don't realize that I just put in like 2 days worth of show prep in 30 minutes. I sent y'all a pretty good note set at the beginning of the week, but then I was like,
That was perfect because that's what I wrote down. I
Man,
put
I
it down pregame, first quarter, and I just kind of did what I'm going to need to say during those parts, and then I can just jump in when you guys are talking if I have something to say.
I was on the struggle bus this week. I'm just like, I'm lacking on many fronts. So the struggle bus has struck me hard. All right. With that said, hey guys, we're in the first quarter. Check it out. Oh, Hunter just went to blips here. Well, right when we go to the salute the service, he disappears. All right, Jude. It's me and you this week on the salute the service. If Hunter doesn't show back up.
Oh,
So-
I got his back.
All right, I got Lindsay's back, so it's not hard when the Merchant Marine Academy is the best team in Division III football in their conference, I guess, in the Northeast, whatever conference. All right, we're going to start off with a salute the service. We got to thank all our service members, current and former. Can't do it without y'all, and we appreciate y'all, and that's why we have this segment of the day here. All right, Hunter, this is your game at 2:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on CBS Sports Network from the it's the Navy Marine Corps Stadium in Annapolis, Maryland.
Yeah, get it right.
The University of South Florida travels to play the midshipmen from Navy. Break down this game. You got a little bit of time on this one. We can stretch it out. Stretch it out.
Thank you.
ESPN's analytics have Navy at a 55% advantage, and the spread, I believe, is Navy -5. No, it's -3. Over under at 54.5. So I'm not using that for advocating gambling. I use that to kind of get a beat on what the experts really think about this game. Now, looking at the stats and the teams played, I think USF's defense is pretty good. They've given up a lot of yards, but a lot of that's through the air. Their rushing defense is really good, and as we know, even though this is a new look offense for Navy, it's still a lot of the same principles. They run the ball. Roughly 2/3 of their yards come from rushing, and if they can't do that, then I wonder how well Ty Lavatai. He passed well against Memphis, but I wonder if he'll be able to consistently do that this week. We'll see. Navy's defense is playing pretty well. They are across the board, slightly above average. USF has a pretty balanced offense. There's no real mismatch there. Not quite like USF's very stout rush defense against Navy's desperation to run the ball. So I'm gonna go against the grain here, and I'm gonna say I got USF 24, Navy 21.
All right, you're saying Todd Orlando's defense is gonna rule the day there in Maryland.
I mean, I can see this game really going either way, 24-21 either way. From the numbers, I'm going to go with USF. They just came off a big win against Rice, and momentum is a very strong motivator. The only thing is that Todd Orlando's defenses historically, Texas, have been very poor against pitch assignments. And you can't be bad against pitch assignments against a team like Navy because they will wait to the last second to pitch that ball, and it will kill you. It'll be a touchdown.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. So a little side note here: the head coach of USF is a Russian immigrant. He is from Russia. Alex, what is his last name? Hunter
Galesh.
And but it was interesting. I saw the day I watched Alabama. They talked about it for about 20 solid minutes because that was the best part of the game. All right. With that said, we're gonna on the same network. I like this CBS Sports Network. Isn't that pretty cool that they show most all the Service Academy games. Like the Service Academy's got their own dedicated like channel, right?
It's almost
So
like
CBS,
the Texas channel or the SEC network. Very cool.
yeah. So at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, that'd be 5 o'clock Jude time, and 8 o'clock on the East Coast time, or Hunter time, as we will call it. We have
For a little bit
the
longer.
what's that?
For a little bit
2 more
longer.
weeks. 2 more weeks, and then we might be missing 1 week. I'm kidding. Jude and Lindsay will be there to pick us up if we're gone. All right. So San Diego State University travels to Falcon. I think it's Falcon Stadium in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Take on the Air Force Fighting Falcons, Flying Falcons. I don't know what they are. They're Falcons. This at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on CBS Sports Network. Air Force is the only remaining undefeated Service Academy team out there.
Yes, they are. And after this weekend, they will remain the only undefeated Service Academy team because I'm going to agree with ESPN Analytics. They have Air Force as an 80% favorite. Vegas the same. They have Air Force as a 10.5-point favorite. I think they will cover that spread. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. The over is 43 points. I'm looking at Arizona to win probably 27-10. Their quarterback, Zach Larrier, he's a great runner. He runs that offense that they run perfect. And because they run that offense, when they do stop to throw the ball, it catches teams off guard. It's very effective. 8 for 12, 221 yards and a touchdown. Emmanuel Michel, their running back, has 73 carries, 322 yards, and 6 touchdowns. I think both those guys are going to pad some stats, and I believe that Air Force, like I said, will win 27-10. So take Air Force, take the under, and take Air Force to cover.
Very cool. I like it. All right. See, this is the part where I got to cover for Lindsay. But on Saturday, the Merchant Marine Academy travels to play Salve Regina. I'm not making that name up. It's an actual name. I don't know anything about. Huh?
It's Regina.
Whatever. I don't know. So the first person that can answer the question here is, where is Salve Regina? Regina? Knowing this crowd, Jude will be in control of that one. We'll look it up. Salve Regina. Anyways, the Merchant Marine Academy, they are the best team in their division. Hands down. They can put points up, and they've got a defense that can stop anybody. I don't see that stopping. This game's at 11 a.m. East Coast time, or our Coast time, and I'm picking Merchant Marine Academy to win 50-14. Now, we got to go on to the other Service Academy game, and unfortunately, the Coast Guard Academy took one on the chin last week. Wasn't a good game, but they play one of the better opponents in the division. They lost, but they play those really smart kids from Massachusetts this week, and they're hosting MIT, and the game time hasn't been announced yet, but it'll be an early game. I'm picking Coast Guard Academy to beat MIT 42-14, but MIT will beat them in the classroom 100-0. That's all the jokes I got. I can't. Other than that, I gotta start quoting Goodwill Hunting. So that's all I got. But I think there's
You
some
like
decent
apples?
Games. Yes.
Well, I got her number.
I got a number. We need to get one someday. We need to get Bocce and Lindsay on together, and they can just start Bostoning each other.
Yeah, everybody's seen Google Hunting. We can just have them read lines back and forth with each other.
Oh man, we could just go and we could just have our segment, our cousin from Boston, like the Samuel Adams beer commercial. They're like, you cover from Boston. Anyways, Army's off this week, which is good, so they can't lose, but they can't win. And then I think we have coming up here pretty soon. We've got our first Commanders Cup game, don't we, Hunter?
Commander-in-Chief Trophy, and it should be week 6. I believe it's Air Force versus Army.
Ooh.
Confirm on that.
Is that in New York?
They generally play this game at a neutral site. Last
I've got the schedule
year
here
they
in front of me. Hold on.
played it.
I hate when they say neutral site
No,
and it's like New
no, it's
Jersey.
Air Force versus Navy. Sorry,
Oh,
I
it's
had that one wrong.
Air Force. Where's that at?
I'm looking right now. If I remember off the top of my head, it should be Colorado. No, it's not. Not even next week. No, we're a couple weeks away from a CIC game. Um, week 7, I think, is our first CIC game. Maybe.
Talk about pushing out kind of deep. Well, let's see. Now it's Saturday. The first, or so Air Force plays Navy on October 21st, and then they play Army on November 4th. So we
So
got
we're
some
actually
time
gonna
for
have we're gonna have our 3 CIC games in roughly
3 week span.
yeah. It's pretty good. I like that actually.
Well, it keeps it fresh, right? Keeps it
Yeah.
going.
Well, like the last 2 years, the Air Force has won the CIC in the middle of the season, and just no one's really said anything. This year, I mean, if I had to pick it right now, I'd say Air Force is probably gonna win it again. As much as it pains my proud Marine Corps soul to say that, but then again, they don't give us our own university because we'd win it every time.
All right. Let me ask you this question. I'll ask both of y'all. What is your favorite CIC game of all time?
Mine is, oh man, it was back in early 90s, like 1991, 92. It was Navy versus Army. Army was the heavy favorite at the time. If I'm correct, they might have had Bobby Ross as their coach at that time, and they were a strong team. But Navy had a quarterback that was a Navy SEAL. His name was Walton Grizzard, I believe. And that dude was just balling the way he was playing and taking hits and bouncing off people. And you ever see one of those games where you see you're on the edge of your seat, you're like, man, he got another one. Like, because he bounced off someone for a first down or something like that.
Yeah.
And the whole game was like that. This dude was just carrying the team. And then
we had one of those games here in Austin. I was watching Cordell Stewart and Rashawn Salam bounce off the Texas defenders like they were made of rubber.
yeah, dude, those two dudes were pretty tough too. But I that's like the one I watch that. I try to watch those games every year for sure. Army Navy. At the end of the year, I have to absolutely try to watch that one. But
I believe mine was 2018, and it was like the frozen tundra. It's what you would imagine what Washington had to cross whenever the river was frozen. You're just thinking like, man, this thing yeah, and it was a really close game. I think Army won on a late touchdown, but it was just like it was a nail biter. It was like what Army Navy. When you think of Army Navy, it should be played with ice on the ground. You know what I mean? Like blood coming from faces and hands, busted knuckles, and dirty jerseys, and just looks like they've been in a real ass whooping. But no, that was my favorite. That was my favorite game. Hunter's looking right now. He's going to give us like a really analytical approach here.
No, 2019 Army Navy. That's pretty enjoyable to watch Navy just run rule Army. And my one of my fellow friends, I should say, just crushing Army with his speed, Malcolm Perry.
A few months ago, maybe it was a couple years ago, but that quarterback from Navy from the game that I was remembering, his name popped up.
Talking about.
So I looked him up, and
okay.
He had a very unfortunate, like in the mid 90s, it was probably 96 or 97, I think it said. For everything he did for his country, for everything he's done, he had a scorned woman, and she took him out. I was like, oh, that kind of sucked.
Man,
his girlfriend killed him, I think, when he was sleeping or something like that.
That is awful.
But that dude was a stud. Watching that dude play football, man, I'll never forget that game.
All right, we got about 30 seconds left in the first quarter. It's a pretty good first quarter. Man, I would love to have somebody from the Naval Academy or the Air Force Academy or maybe even the Coast Guard Academy. You know what? I do know somebody that played at the Merchant Marine Academy. We got to try to get him on. But his personality is big. He's from New York, and he's like, you got to be ready for New York. You know what I mean? Like Jude and I were pretty relaxed, laid back. Lindsay's easy come, easy go. This guy is like Hunter knows who I'm talking about. Sal.
Mm.
He's in your face. He's a close talker.
You know what?
Too.
It's okay though. It's okay. He's a good dude.
Yeah, very good.
He makes up for it. You know,
I
he's
tell
not
you
in
what,
your
he's
face and
a-
annoying. He's in your face, but you're like, hey, you don't walk away like, damn, I wasted my time. Like, yeah, I enjoyed that. So
I get my wife on that, Shelly. She's friends with his wife, and I'll have her reach out and see, because that's gonna be one where I had to pull the wife card on that one. We'll get her to take care of it. See if she can hook that deal up. But if we can get Sal on, Sal would be a great interview. All right. Well, it's that time. We got to start talking about these conferences. Now, what y'all don't know watching is we've already talked. We already know what games are happening, what games aren't. But what we're going to do first, we're going to start with the West Coast. Jude, tell me about the Mountain West, to be a matter of fact.
All right. Busy weekend this in the Mountain West Conference. I'm going to start off with. I'm just going to go in order the way ESPN had them and pick my picks. You know, it's going to be quick and simple. I'm going to take Utah State to win at Connecticut. They're both horrible teams, but Utah State's a better program. Boise State versus Memphis. I'm going to take Boise State to win and to cover the spread. Hawaii at UNLV. I have no idea how to pick that game. They're both good at home, so I'll probably go with. Well, they're both better at home. Not that either one's good. So
I like how you qualified that.
So I'll probably go with UNLV since they're the home team. New Mexico at Wyoming. It's not quite winter weather in Wyoming yet, but it's starting to get windy out there. So I'm going to go with Wyoming to win that game. Universal Technical Institute at Colorado. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Utah Tech. Universal Technical. I was going to say, man, my alma mater. Utah Tech is playing at Colorado State. I think Colorado State's going to win that game handily. We talked about San Diego State at Air Force and already earlier in the salute to the service. And in the last game, I think Fresno State is going to be at home and they're going to totally destroy Nevada, as they are, I believe, now ranked and just going to keep moving up the rankings. I don't see a loss on their schedule, guys.
Do you think Fresno State, are they the best team in Mountain West, hands down?
We'll see when they play Air Force.
So let me ask you another question. Well, maybe we'll say that for a few weeks. Ask me a Fresno State question in 3-ish weeks.
All right.
We'll go there. All right, Hunter, let's head to the Fun Belt. Let's talk about the most underrated football in college football. That'd be the Sun Belt.
So, I mean, looking at this week's slate of games, got some good stuff on the line. Obviously, I'll save who I'm going to talk about for a little bit because I'm just going to homer it anyway. But we have Louisiana traveling to Minnesota in a game that maybe the Raging Cajuns pulled off. They're 3-1. They're playing good ball, and Minnesota has had lost to Northwestern. So maybe the Cajuns pull it off. I don't think they do, but I'd always love to see a fellow Sun Belt school upset a Power 5 team because it's just hilarious. Next, a game that could be pretty good, South Alabama against James Madison.
Well, you can't talk about it because it's one of our games of the week.
Oh, that's right. All right, I'll pass on that one. Arkansas State.
I'll just cut the legs out from underneath you every time you talk about one of them.
That's fair enough. Arkansas State and Massachusetts. Massachusetts is playing somewhat decent football this year. They're basically 2 plays away from being 3-1. Arkansas State has somehow discovered offense these last 2 weeks. Let's see if they can keep that up in wherever UMass is at, Foxborough, basically. The greater Boston area, as it were. Is Coastal Carolina, Georgia Southern one of the games of the week?
Nope. You're clear to talk.
So we'll go ahead and touch on that one. Georgia Southern is playing some excellent football right now. They lost to Wisconsin. That's a tough out, but we'll forgive them for that. Coastal Carolina's played some bad ball. I think they made the wrong hire at head coach. I think Georgia Southern comes away from this game in dominating fashion. They're not rival, but rival Georgia State dominated Coastal Carolina, so I think they're going to be on the same wavelength. I'm going Georgia Southern 35, Coastal Carolina 14. It's a beatdown, and I think the Chanticleer's reign over the Sun Belt is at an end after they get demolished by the Screaming Eagles of Georgia Southern. Um, Troy Georgia State, I'm sure, is on our games of the week because that's a great
Nope.
game.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I left it off for you. No,
Ah,
I didn't. I
perfect.
get Georgia State and Georgia Southern confused all the time, and I didn't realize Georgia Southern's like 4-0, and they may be like one of the top
Georgia
teams.
State.
Georgia State is 4-0, and they may be one of the top teams in the Sun Belt.
Yeah, Troy is 2-2, a close loss to James Madison, and they lost in somewhat not great fashion against Kansas State. But other than that, playing great football. It's Troy. Coach Summerall has them rolling right now. I mean, they are 2-2, but that happens. Georgia State, for their part, are 4-0, but they did have a struggle against Rhode Island, so up and down on that. But they're still 4-0, first time in school history. They're playing excellent football. Daring Granger. We'll talk about this guy for a minute. 994 yards, 7 touchdowns, in an offense not really designed to toss the ball around, but he's still doing great work with it. Um, he looks good playing quarterback, looks confident in the pocket, playing like an elite lower level quarterback when it comes, you know, I mean, those quarterbacks that play in the lower levels, but they play great football, takes care of the ball. Georgia State has shown an ability to kind of sit on top of the ball and really punish you for making mistakes. They run what's essentially like a triple option base offense with a lot of passing added to it. Jamie Chadwell, Hugh Freeze, really Hugh Freeze like. If you kind of remember the Ole Miss offenses. Troy, for their part, you know, they have Gunnar Watson, who's a real gunslinger type, throwing for 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, about 3 picks. They also have Kamani Vidal, who may be one of the best running backs in college football. Of course, then again, Marcus Carroll is right behind him in yardage, but not near the amount of efficiency there. About 16 more carries for 6 less yards, so you do the math there. But I'm going to go ahead. I mean, Troy's defense is significantly better than Georgia State's, but I think Georgia State gets that big win that finally says that we have arrived over a team like Troy. So I'm going to go Georgia State 31, Troy. I'm going to go Georgia State 35, Troy 32. You do the math on how it's not scoregami, but basically a 3-point win in the 30s for Georgia State, and the Panthers truly place themselves as the dominant team in the East of the Sun Belt. One of the dominant teams. There is still another team in the East that is really good.
All right, what else we got in the Sun Belt?
Well, Marshall and Old Dominion. Again, I don't have the list in front of me.
We got one of our picks.
So App State at Ewell Monroe.
We got this one of our picks also.
Okay. Well, that is it for the Sun Belt, except for, of course, my favorite team, the Texas State Bobcats, traveling to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. We're not taking our welfare money with us, protecting that.
Just gotta watch out the Brett Favre's there.
Yeah. So Texas State travels to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and this is the first time that Texas State's been favored on the road against an FBS opponent, and probably ever. They are -5.5. ESPN gives the Bobcats a 64.4% chance to win. Numbers say that, let's see here, Texas State, the 5.5 over-under of 61. I think it's a little bit low for an over-under. Now, Texas State's defense has been a little bit of a liability this year, but Southern Miss's offense has also been a bit of a liability. So we'll kind of see, sludge versus sieve, which one works. So, but Texas State's offense, as I'm sure everybody watching knows, has been electric this year. Texas State last week mounted a 17-point comeback to win by 11 against Nevada. Dominated the game, the whole second half, just lit up the scoreboard, 35 plus points. They looked amazing in the second half, and as long as they come out like that against Southern Miss, I think Texas State takes control of this game early and stays on top of Southern Miss and just plays keep away with the score, forces Southern Miss to make a bunch of mistakes. Ben Wiles is a bit he's a bit wild with football. He's turned the ball over 4 times to 5 touchdowns. It's not great. We don't like 1-to-1 touchdown to interception ratios out here. Um, TJ Finley, for his parts, turned the ball once or twice actually, 1 fumble, 1 interception, but he's thrown for 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. Tech State's found something in the run game with Ismail Mahdi, has 36 carries for 400 yards, averaging more than 10 yards a carry. That is, for a Tech State player, that's insane. So, like I said, not trying to get too high on this game right now, but Texas State looks to be the better team, and I'm going to go ahead and say they are. Texas State 35, Southern Miss 24.
All right. Well, gotta talk about something real quick. So the third quarter, we're not gonna have an interview. We're not gonna have a story. We're gonna do more of our conference picks. We're gonna pick them up with speed over the next couple weeks. We're gonna speed them up.
Let's do coaching hot seat for third quarter. How about that?
How about we do that at halftime? Whenever we
Okay.
talk about our Heisman, I'm gonna explain how we're gonna pick or how we're gonna show our Heisman rankings. I had to think, I had to refine the idea. But anyways, I'm gonna cover part of Lindsay's part. We got about 4 minutes till the break. In the Atlantic Coast Conference, we have Louisville traveling to North Carolina State University. I think Louisville's gonna stay undefeated. They're gonna be ranked next week, and they're gonna beat North Carolina State. North Carolina State's a good team, but they are their offense doesn't show any cohesion right now. I think Louisville's a better team with the prodigal son, Jeff Brom, is back on Saturday, and that's a Friday night game. So if you don't have anything to do tomorrow night, check that one out. On Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, Clemson travels to New York to the JMA Wireless Dome in Syracuse, New York. This is going to be a tough game. Clemson has to win this game. No doubt about it. I mean, like, this is, if you lose this game, your season, it could be a rough one. I'm picking Clemson to win it, but just by the thinnest of margins, because the coach at Syracuse is a tremendous coach. Dino Babers, awesome guy, tremendous coach. All right, I'm going to travel to Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time on the CW Network. The University of Virginia is traveling to Boston College. The Eagles are taking the W in this one. There's no way that they're losing at home to UVA. I'm sure that Hunter's coaching hot seat news may have something to do with UVA. On to our next game. Bowling Green State University travels to Atlanta at Bobby Dodd Stadium, 2:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on the ACC Network. They're going to take on Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is going to smash Bowling Green, and I mean smash. It's going to be a physical game, but they're going to win by a ton of points. All right, and then our final game that we're going to talk about in this segment is Pitt in Virginia Tech at 7 p.m. on the ACC Network from Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia. You're going to want to watch the opening of this game. It's exciting stuff to watch Vatek run out of the huddle. After that, game's over. Pitt's going to win this game. It's not going to be anything flashy, 21-17. It's going to be a fist fight in a phone booth. That's all I can tell you.
But a boring one.
We got about a minute and a half left. I'm going to hop over here, and I'm going to hit the Southeastern Conference because we have a few other games in our head-to-head picks. So our non-head-to-head pick, number 1, Georgia's traveling to Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, Alabama at 2:30 p.m. on CBS. Georgia's going to win this game handily. Auburn's a decent team, but they're not Georgia. And then at 3 p.m. on the SEC Network from First Bank Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee, the number 23 Missouri Tigers travel to play Vanderbilt. Now, I had higher hopes for Vanderbilt at the beginning of the season, but right now I don't. I think the Missouri Tigers stay undefeated and beat the Commodores handily. At 6:30 p.m. from Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee, South Carolina travels to take on number 21 Tennessee. Tennessee's going to cover this one. As much as I like Spencer Rattler, not going to have it for him this week. Tennessee covers. Tennessee enacts some revenge from last year. Remember, they were on their really hot start, and then they just got bullied down by South Carolina. They get a little retribution. And for the nightcap at 8 o'clock on 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on ESPN from Davis Wade Stadium in Starkville, Mississippi. The number 12 Alabama Crimson Tide travel take on the Bulldogs from Mississippi State. And Mississippi State's offense is going to struggle against Alabama, and I think Jalen Milroe is going to show why he's a good quarterback in the Southeastern Conference. And that's going to cover our picks for the first half. And we're in the halftime. If I can get to my keyboard real quick. I got papers and notes and all kinds of mess going on. All right. So I sent this email to Jude and Hunter and Lindsay earlier this week, and I put 5 names in the order that they're ranked according to the Vegas odds. Now we're not doing this for gambling purposes. We do this because it's a good target hit on where everything is. You know what I mean? It's much like with the scores. We're giving you what Vegas odds. Vegas doesn't bet money to lose; they bet money to win. So we use it as it's a good like flagpole or standing mark or whatever you want to call it, a pinpoint. You know, it helps locate where the needle should be. So I'm gonna pop over to this email real quick because I'm so good at remembering everything. And I should have gone to sent mail. You know what I mean?
Sure.
All right, we're talking about our Heisman top 5. Now, Jude, I need you to rank. Now, this is how we're going to do this. So we got 5 Heisman Trophy candidates, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to rank those 5 according to what we think. So I'll give you the 5 names. I'm going to give you in the rank that Vegas has ranked. Number 1 is Caleb Williams. Number 2 is Michael Penix Jr. Number 3 is Quinn Ewers. Number 4 is Sam Hartman. Number 5 is Jordan Travis. Now, if there's somebody missing that you in the chat think should be in there, put it in the chat. Let us know. Jude, give me your top 5 Heisman in order. Who is number 5 to number 1?
Number 5 from those 5.
Yep.
5. Who was the last one that they had?
Jordan Travis.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll start with number 5 being Jordan Travis. Number 4. Okay, I know who my top 3 were, but I'll say that. Let me go that way. Caleb Williams, Michael Penix Jr., and Quinn Ewers are the top 3. So who am I missing?
Sam Hartman. You have a pick this Vegas.
Yes, pretty much the same order that Vegas has is the way I would go. There was a couple of players that 2 players that I have on my list for Heisman that Vegas doesn't have in the top 5.
Okay, let's hear them.
Drake May and Bo Nix.
All right, yeah, fair enough.
I think they're both playing well enough to deserve a shot.
Absolutely. Like I said, if anybody in the chat's got another name, pop it up. Let's talk about it. Hunter, who is in your top 5?
So starting with 5, I'm gonna go against the grain here. 5, Cam Ward from Washington State University. 4, Bodacious Nix of University of Oregon. 3 is one Drake May from North Carolina. 2, Michael Penix Jr. and 1, Caleb Williams.
Dude, I crap you not. That is the exact same I had right there. Caleb Williams, Michael Penix Jr., Drake May, Bo Nix, and Cam Ward. We had the exact same.
Hey, look, this isn't Tuesday night here, Jude. You're allowed to use that 4-letter word.
Oh, I shit you. We have the exact same Heisman watch right there. Two great minds think alike, man.
Now, I can't disagree with it. I'm gonna go with the top 5 that I sent y'all. I'm gonna start at number 5, and that's Quinn Ewers. Numbers wise, he's not as close as the other guys. 4 is gonna be Sam Hartman just because of the loss. If you want to insert Bo Nix, Drake May, anybody else in that spot, that's fine with me. Number 3 is gonna be Jordan Travis. He's carrying FSU right now, as much as a lot of people don't think. I think Jordan Travis is a bigger reason why FSU is relevant. Number 2, I'm going to upset Jude. I'm going to go with Caleb Williams. Until proven otherwise, Michael Penix Jr. is the best player in college football right now.
Dude, he's putting up technical numbers. How can you? I mean, that doesn't hurt my feelings. I mean,
Yeah, he doesn't play defense, but he doesn't need to. So I'm gonna go. Like I said, the good news is that they all get to play, right? I mean, so we're gonna get more games where they all get to play. This is not just a award that's just given. I just hope they take more than my hope is they take more than 3 guys to New York this year. You know what I mean? Like, let's have like, let's make it a legitimate unless there's just one guy that's just better than the rest, and then they're just bringing 2 other dudes that show up and shake his hand.
No, right now there's Michael Penix Jr. and Caleb Williams, I think, are head and shoulders the 2 favorites. And then the next 3, man, it's anybody's game. If they want to take 5 people to anybody we name, the Vegas's odds, Cam Ward, Bo Nix, Drake May, JJ McCarthy, that's what JWC Tech said. I mean, shoot, Michigan's a good team. You know, if they end up in the national title game, it's going to be hard to ignore them.
Blake Corum.
Yeah, Blake Corum.
Yeah, he got a late run. You know, I know a lot of it's a lot of campaigning. It's a real political type deal, which is, sucks. But it is what it is. It's going to play out over the course of the season. And you know what? As a college football fan, it's going to be fun to watch. That's all I can tell you. So some other stuff. The game of the week that does not matter. I know what the game of the week is. Hunter and Jude don't know what I'm thinking, right? Which is not very hard to figure out, evidently. So I'm going to give each one of them 3 guesses in the overtime. You at home guess. What do you think the game of the week is? These are it's a Division I game. It's not a Power 5. It's a Division I game, non-Power 5. Let me make sure on that real quick. Well, Division I game, non-Power 5.
Well, all three of my guesses fit that criteria.
So you got 3 guesses. You got to think what's on Cass's brain and the game of the week that does not matter. Does everyone want to see my peek? I'll flash it real quick. All right, there you go. You saw it. All right. Let's see. What else were we going to talk about? Oh, coaching hot seat. Hunter, the seat can't get any hotter for Mel Tucker because he got fired today. So what do you got?
Well, I was going to go with more of hot board on that one, and I was going to say right now Michigan State is looking towards I think I saw it's like Mike Locksley, Pat Narduzzi, and a few others, but they've already started to put out feelers for candidates because now, I mean, really, if you're a Michigan State fan, that's all you got to look forward to now is the coaching hunt, and it's
hold on, but I'm going to interrupt you real quick. I'm going to pose this question. If you're Mike Locksley, is Michigan State a better job than Maryland right now?
Better job than what?
Maryland. You play in the same conference, 1, and 2, Maryland is Under Armour. Like the guy that owns Under Armour is a Maryland. He's like the Phil Knight to Maryland. Like, why would you leave Maryland? I think a Maryland is a better place to recruit people to than Michigan. I mean, you're going to freeze your ass off in either one, but at least you're like in a decent place.
So I got
You're Mike Locksley. Would you leave Maryland?
I got the list here as well. Mike Elko, Dan Enos, Matt House, Charles Huff, Pat Narduzzi, Mike Tressel, and also Mike Locksley, as mentioned.
If I'm Michigan State, I'm not going with any of those guys.
Mike Elko, I don't know. Seems like it has Duke rolling.
That's great and all, but
now I know who Michigan I would hire.
Who's that? Oh, yeah, I know who you'd hire. But so I think he probably has either a SEC job or a Big 12 job on the line coming up. We're talking about Jeff Traylor, head coach at University of Texas San Antonio. Jeff Traylor is going to be he's going to be a Power 5 head coach next year for sure. So, on other coaches' hot seats, you got anything else on hot seats there, Hunter?
Both Tony Elliott and Jeff Hafley, they play in the Worst Coach Bowl this week. Neither coach has really guided their teams well these last year and a half. and I don't expect that to change. I wouldn't be surprised if both these coaches are fired at the end of the year or midway through. Um,
I think Tony Elliott makes it to the end of the season, but the
I
performance on
think
I know they had a tragedy, but the performance on the field, they look unprepared. I mean, it looks like a guy that's trying to coach the whole team. It looks like when I was coaching youth football, when you had no help, this is what it looks like. And I'm not saying that youth football and college football are the same. What I'm saying is when it's one person doing all the work, this is what it looks like.
when I think Jim Harbaugh's a great coach. I'm not a really big fan of him as a person, but I think he's a great coach, and he's turned multiple programs around. And when he failed to beat Ohio State, a few years in a row, he was on the hot seat. Now he's turning that around. So I think come the end of the year, if Ohio State doesn't get a win, who might be on the hot seat.
I mean, Ohio State can fire Ryan Day all they want, but all they're doing is basically taking a guaranteed commodity, an offensive play caller, somebody who, you know, one ball bounces one way, could be, however, could be a national champion. Not saying that like it's been that close, but saying that that's a possibility. Or they go and try their luck on the high end coach market. Yeah, you hit on Urban Meyer. Yeah, you hit on Ryan Day and Mike Tressel or Jim Tressel, even though he cheated and was a bad person. But you were also irrelevant in the '80s, so I don't know. You can one bad hire and you are Nebraska for 6 years, 7 years,
20.
20 years, right? Like Ohio State, I think has too much in-state talent to be that bad that long. But
All right, so we're
I mean,
bleeding over into the third quarter a little bit. I just want to kind of wrap a bow on it. If Ohio State fires Ryan Day is going to find himself in the NFL as head coach, and he'll probably be even more successful there. I think his system would fit the pros well. Being able to work with the dual threat athletes at quarterback will be his specialty. And he looks like he's a pretty business first guy, maybe not so much a rah guy, which I think would fit well in the NFL. Ohio State, Hunter convinced me of this so long ago about Ryan Day. I don't like Ryan Day, but as a coach, I think Ryan Day is tremendous. And if Ohio State gets rid of him, big mistake, in my opinion. That's just me. I don't know what y'all think. On to the third quarter, and it's big interview time. And up next is a name that nobody knows because I don't have a big interview this week. I kid because I can. Like I said, our big interview, we don't have a good story of a big interview this week. I wanted Hunter to be here. Should we tell the name that the person that we're going to bring on? Or should we stay?
no, keep it.
Okay, all right. Next week, for sure, we're going to have a college football player and a former Hill Country Cowboy join the screen with another former Hill Country Cowboy and Hunter. And they'll get to reminisce about their times of tackling drills and bull in the ring and the dirty South Raiders and
Talking about how much adrenaline was pumping on the field and how cold it was next to the Gatorade bottle.
no, they had this team. Everybody played. There was no bench warmers.
No, I'm just teasing because that's what you always said.
Yeah, no, Hunter, and he actually played with older kids. He actually played up on the team, and he was probably the leading tackler on the team. What have you heard on that?
Well,
Okay, so if the ball got past the line of scrimmage, Hunter wasn't the leading tackler. But if the ball stayed at the line of scrimmage, he was probably in on the tackle.
Well,
that's kind of towards the middle. I would
Sounds like
say,
a ball hawk.
kind of talking about it. I grew up a bit in that season. Started out not great, put it to you that way.
We'll talk about it more next week.
Yeah.
We got stuff to cover. All right. I got to hop over to the MAC, and I'm going to tell you this right now. Every MAC home team is going to win this week. No doubt about it. And then next week, we have games on Tuesday, which we used to call MACtion, but they're not MAC games anymore. There's somebody else. Buffalo at Akron. Akron's going to win at home. Eastern Michigan University is going to Central Michigan. I'm taking the Chippewas at home. Miami, Ohio, and Kent State. I'm going to go with the Golden Flashes at home. Oh, I'm sorry. Bowling Green's not. They're going to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's going to smash Bowling Green. Ball State's going to lose to Western Michigan. And the Husky from Northern Illinois will travel to Toledo, and the Rockets are going to get the W.
Hey, padlock that one. Toledo winning that game.
Padlock it. All right. I like Hunter's confidence. We're going to travel over to the Big Ten, and I don't have a single Big Ten game in our pick'em. Can you believe that? Not a single one. Because number 6 Penn State travels to Ryan
SC still
Field
in
in
the Pac-12.
Evanston, Illinois, and they're going to play Northwestern. Penn State's going to win this game by a lot. Penn State looked phenomenal last week. Phenomenal. They looked phenomenal. They are really good. University of Louisiana travels to Minnesota to take on the Gopher. I'm taking the Gopher at home. Number 2, Michigan travels to Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska, and Jim Harbaugh pulls out his inner Mac Brown and smashes Nebraska at home once again. Matt Rule, you'll have Nebraska back one day, but it's not going to be today. So I'm taking Michigan at home. The Hoosier travels to Maryland to take on Mike Loxley and his Maryland Terrapins, and the Terrapins are going to bite the shit out of whatever the Hoosier is. We have Illinois traveling to Purdue. I don't know why I do this to myself. I always pick Purdue. I don't know why. Why is it the Hudson Card effect? Is it because he's from Austin? Is that what I'm doing, Hunter?
You picked
Is it
Purdue
the
like
Hudson
every year
Card
I've been
effect?
alive.
Why do I pick Purdue?
You
I
always
mean,
pick Purdue to win these
we know
games.
that Illinois is going to win this game. I'm picking Purdue. So
You've been
we
doing
have
this
Wagner
since
traveling to
before-
play the Hitmen in Rutgers. What's Rutgers? They're the Scarlet Knights, but really they should be like the Hitmen. They should have guys in like some really flashy suits, walking around with like some really nice sunglasses and like some pinky rings on the sideline going, hey, referee, come here. Forget about it.
the Racketeers.
The Hitmen take down Wagner. And then
The
in our final game,
Racketeers.
Michigan State's going to travel to Iowa. They're going to play at Kinnick Stadium. Now, you have to watch this game. This is a night game. They're all going to turn. They're going to face the Children's Hospital. It's going to be something to watch. Other than that, Iowa's going to smash Michigan State this week. Michigan State is not good.
And
not
they
at
don't
all.
have a coach.
And
That's
the
probably
team,
my favorite tradition. One of my favorite traditions, watching away for the kids. Man, that is so awesome.
Man, I don't know how to get any better than that. I mean, it's the cool. It's one of the coolest things. I'm not an Iowa fan, but
Me
I'll tell you
either.
what, the Kinnick Stadium thing, it ain't get any better than that for me. All right, Hunter, I needed you to quickly. You know what I mean? Quickly, less than 22 minutes. Talk about the Big 12.
22-minute time limit.
I'm
So,
kidding. I'm
Cincinnati-
kidding, son. I'm kidding.
Since we have Cincinnati traveling to BYU, go ahead. I want to talk about all the numbers and everything. They have Cincinnati as a -1. I don't like that. It's BYU at 10:15 at night. Well, 9:15 Central Time, 8:15 Mountain Time, which I believe this is Mountain Time in Provo at night. And if anyone knows, if anyone ever watches a BYU game at night in Provo, you don't win. You lose to BYU. Just what happens? The moon comes down and gravity changes, and the Mormons pray and they beat you.
They're wearing magic underwear.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go ahead and say BYU wins this game. They've been playing better football than Cincinnati. Cincinnati hasn't beat anyone worth a damn, so there you go. BYU, they lost to Kansas, but they fought for most of that game. Kansas pulled away late, so I'll say that BYU could have maybe pulled that one out in a different world. So I'm going to go with the Cougars. I'm going to say 24-21 BYU over Cincinnati. Houston at Texas Tech. This is a game of the mid. They are both not very good, but Tech has a significantly better defense than Houston, even though they're playing with their backup quarterback, Baron Morton. I'm going to give Tech the advantage here. I say Texas Tech wins 14-7. I mean, it won't be that bad, but it won't be that good. Probably 31-28-4, something like that.
All right.
Then we have Baylor traveling to UCF. Baylor is like a dead team walking, and the line has moved 1.5 points since I checked this 3 hours ago on the toilet. So I don't know what happened, but UCF
Baylor
is getting
seasoned
more...
with the shit, kind of like something else.
Baylor is not very well favored. I thought UCF was going to struggle without John Reese Plumlee. They fought K-State to the bitter end, and really, had they had John Reese Plumlee, they would have won that game. But I think UCF beats Baylor. Baylor has shown me nothing that have any confidence in them at all. I say UCF wins this game 42-14. I think it's a beatdown. Maybe J.R. Martinez, or what his name was, I forgot. I do apologize. I should know the name of the backup quarterback other than Sawyer Robertson. Maybe he makes a difference. I don't expect it. I think UCF just takes it to Baylor, proves that they belong in the Big 12, and just beats Baylor down.
All right. What about Iowa State at Oklahoma?
We were getting there. It's a Palace on the Prairie game. Oklahoma's favored by minus 20. But if you look at the stats, usually the week before they play Texas, they're 3-3 in the last 6 years, and they are 1-5 against the spread, or something of that nature. I mean, it's always a close game. It's always a heart beater. So I'm gonna say Iowa State keeps it close, and I'm gonna go
Go ahead.
Iowa State 28, Oklahoma 35. I mean, it's a one-score game. Oklahoma wins it, but it's a close one, and it's a nail biter. And then last we have West Virginia, TCU.
Yeah, that's one
West
of our
Virginia's
picking
playing.
games.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's
All right, Jude, hit me with the West Coast is the best coast. Tell me about that other outfit on the West Coast, the Pac-12. What do we got?
All right, I plan on probably being cut off a couple times. I'm sure a couple of those games are games of the week, or am I wrong?
Well, the first one you're going to say number 10 Utah at number 19.
Fridays,
State.
Fridays.
I'm
Tomorrow's
cutting the
games.
legs out of you right now, but I'm going to let you talk about USC and Colorado because nobody else cares.
All right, cool. Well, the Pac-12, no out-of-conference games this week. All in-conference games. Pac-12 was only playing Pac-12. UCLA is idle after losing to Utah 14-7, and Washington State is idle after that big win against Oregon State. But let's start off with Friday. We'll wait on that game for the pick'ems. USC at Colorado. I know USC is going to win. They have the team and the ability to win 100-0, but USC has never been a let's just smoke them team. They've never been Florida or Florida State. That's not the way. It doesn't matter who's coaching. That's just not the way they play. We're probably looking at a 55-24 game or something like that. ASU.
So we never get to watch USC at night. How's USC in the morning? I mean, this is an early game for them.
Dude, it's 9:00 my time. USC might be still hungover.
No, because I mean, if you've ever been to Boulder, they don't major in school at Boulder either.
Oh, okay.
There's a reason why they played a game at 10 p.m. at night. They started it, so.
Yeah, I couldn't believe them. I don't know if I want to watch Big Noon on Fox. I'm going to have to be up like at 7:00. Crazy.
You have to watch Reg.
Yeah, Reg and Matt, man, come on,
Yeah.
that's my dudes.
So, not to sidetrack, because we got a couple minutes here. Not to sidetrack, but do you think that Mark, what's his name from Alabama, is a good addition to the Big Noon Show, or do you think they should have gone and gotten somebody else?
I like him. He's
Mark Ingram.
Yeah, Mark Ingram. I knew we were talking about. I like him. I think he's funny. I saw a quick. They kind of like punked him. I don't know what the show was. I saw a little video where they were playing some kind of like flag football, and this one dude was like pressing him, and like hitting him harder than he's supposed to. But
He just drove him to the ground.
Yeah, then he thought he hurt him. That was pretty funny. I thought that was cool.
All right,
Mark,
anything else on the Pac-12 here, Jude?
All right, cool. Yeah. ASU at Cal, both horrible teams, but ASU's less horrible. So ASU to win. Oregon is going to absolutely destroy Stanford. And Washington and Michael Penix Jr., who will put up more Nintendo numbers, are going to absolutely destroy Arizona. I don't see anything. The only game that's really worth watching, if you're not a Coach Prime or USC fan, is tomorrow night's game. And that's going to be a great game, I think.
And just to reiterate on what Hunter said, the Cincinnati at BYU, that's tomorrow night, and it's in Provo. Provo is also at altitude. And what I mean by altitude is, they always talk about Denver being at altitude, a mile high. Provo is actually higher in elevation than Denver is. So that's something to keep in mind. And it's also extremely dry. Like, I know it snows there, but it's real dry. If you've ever been to Colorado or Utah, you get a lot of dry snow, which sounds kind of stupid, but it doesn't pack real well together. It's real dry. So something to consider. I agree with Hunter. I think Cincinnati gets smashed by BYU, and Provo's an impossible place to play at night. All they do is sit around all day and wish to beat anybody during the day. I don't know. Anyways, Jude, I'm going to intervene on your USC score. This is going to go one of two ways. USC is going to be awake, and they're going to come out and they're going to smash Colorado, and I mean smash like 70-14 smash, or it's going to be a 56-38 game. I don't want to see a 56-38 game, not because I don't like Coach Prime, but USC needs to show that they're for real, and they need to beat Colorado a ton, much like what Oregon did. They don't have to hold them. They don't have to hold them scoreless, but they need to win by a lot.
That's what I'm hoping for. I just, USC
All right.
aren't
Can
usually.
y'all believe it? We're in the fourth quarter. I mean, this thing just goes by quick. I mean, I don't know what to do. Right? All right. So fourth quarter is our head-to-head pick'ems here. Now Lindsay's not here, so he ain't picking. We're gonna start with Friday night. The number 10 Utah Utes travel to Reser Stadium in Corvallis, Oregon, to take on the number 19 Oregon State Beaver. Hunter, what do you think about this game? What is Oregon State? Are they gonna snatch Utah's undefeated season away from them tomorrow night?
Depending on if Cam Rising's playing, that would decide my pick. If Cam Rising,
Give me if and if not. Both ways.
if Cam Rising's playing, I'm going Utah all the way. If he's not playing, I'm going Oregon State.
Okay, so
with reservation.
The over under on this game is 44.5, and it's 4 points. 4 points in favor of Oregon State. So Oregon State's favored by 4.
Still rolling with. I think Utah, no matter what, covers. Yeah, say that right now.
All right, Jude, what do you got on this one?
Utah's going to cover.
All right, I got Utah covering. It's going to be the over. Utah's going to get the outright win. They're going to score more than 44.5 points. If Cam Rising's back, Utah's offense is going to score a lot. It's going to put their defense on the field a little bit more, like series-wise, but maybe not time-wise. And Oregon State's offense is good enough to score at will, like they did last week against Washington State. I still think if Utah scores 30 points, Oregon's going to score at least 20 points, and I think they're going to beat this 44.5 easily. You want to make some dough, pick the over.
Yeah, I got Utah, right. I got the over, and I got them covering.
Hey, a couple of good games tomorrow night. If you want to find something to watch, don't watch this Louisiana Tech at UTEP. Louisiana Tech is going to win this by a lot.
Hey, that's my alma mater. Oh, no, wait, never mind. I forgot it wasn't.
All righty. On Saturday at 11 a.m. on the ESPN, the four-letter network, the number 22 Florida Gators travel to Kroger Field in Lexington, Kentucky to take on those pesky Kentucky Wildcats. All right. So Kentucky's favored in this game by a point, and it's only 45.5 points total over-under. Jude, what do you got on this one?
I was reading the comment. I'm sorry. Which game? The
Martians versus the Palladians.
I heard you say Louisville,
Florida at Kentucky.
Florida, Kentucky. You said Kentucky's favored by 1 point?
1 point.
It's still Kentucky.
Can you believe that one team is ranked and one team is undefeated and they're not the same team?
It's still Florida and it's still Kentucky, and there's just something about that game. I'm going to take Florida. I'm going to take the over, and obviously, if I'm taking Florida, they're going to cover the 1 point spread. I think they're going to win outright.
All right, Hunter, what do you got on Florida versus Kentucky?
I know that Kentucky's undefeated and they're favored by 1, but looking at the game from the perspective that I've looked at it from the numbers and from the wins over who, I have to go with the Gators. I think that they're playing better ball every day, and I think they go into Kroger Field and win 24-21, something like that. Some 20-plus points on each side, but I think Florida gets that big win and continues that hot streak they've been on since they beat Tennessee.
All right, now if I'm Lee Corso, I'll put it on a Gator head and give him a chop. I have Florida winning and take the over. All right, here's a game that's going to interest a lot of you. Why I picked it to be a pick'em game of the week at 11 a.m. on the SEC Network from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. The Fighting Aggies from Texas A&M take on the Razorbacks from Arkansas. Now, this is a rivalry game. I love rivalry games, and this is an old school Southwest Conference matchup. And these teams don't like each other. They recruit against each other. Like if you thought Arkansas didn't like Texas, man, they really don't like Texas A&M. And I'm gonna let Hunter kind of elaborate on this one a little bit, but he's gonna give me his pick. And what do you got on this one, Hunter?
Well, if Connor Wigman wasn't injured, I would pick A&M with full confidence in my body. But I have a feeling Arkansas, they've struggled these last couple of weeks. They need something. And what better place to get something, much like A&M last year, against A&M. Middle of the season. Perfect time to start a hot streak going down the line. Try to get 7, 8 wins, maybe 9. But it starts here. It starts against A&M. I think that Arkansas looks to get a big win against A&M here. I'm gonna say Arkansas wins it on a last-minute field goal. You pick the final score. It could be 3-0. It could be 200 to 203. Arkansas by a last-minute field goal.
All right. So A&M's favored by 6.5, and there's a 53.5 point over/under on this one. Jude, what are you taking on this one?
I'm taking the over for sure. I don't know if Arkansas is going to win outright, but I think they'll cover the 6.5 points. I mean, man, they played a really good game last week against LSU. That game could have gone either way in its own right, but I was actually pulling for the Razorbacks. You and I talked about some schools that we kind of like to watch, even though they're not our teams. I mentioned Wisconsin. Arkansas is another school I've watched since the late 80s. I've always had something about them that I've liked. And I think they're going to start to turn their season and their recent misfortunes around. I think they're going to beat A&M, which is a solid school to beat. And I think I'm going to take Arkansas. I'm going to take the over, and I'm pretty sure they'll cover the point. I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but they'll for sure cover those points.
I'm telling you right now, Max Johnson is going to look like Johnny Manziel under Bobby Petrino's offense. Max Johnson looked really good in relief last week, taking over for Connor Wegman. Max Johnson's going to have a big week. The Ags are going to cover. You better take the over on this one because they're going to throw up a ton of points, and they're going to pull down the W. Don't be surprised if the Ags cover the 53.5 on their own. So, big week for Texas A&M. I'm not a big believer in Arkansas's defense. Sam Pittman looked like he had it going a couple of years ago. It looks like the team's going to beat him down. I'm going Texas A&M big time. All righty. At 11 a.m. also from Bridgeforth Stadium and somewhere in Harrisburg, Virginia, the University of South Alabama is traveling to take on the Dukes from James Madison. We need to kind of pick this up. We got about 7 minutes left before we hit the overtime, and we still have a few more games we're going to cover after our regular pick'em. Hunter, what do you have on this game? Vegas says it's a 3-point favorite for James Madison, and they said Vegas also says they're only going to score 49.5 points in this game. What do you got?
I could see that. James Madison doesn't mind playing close games. They're built to win them. However you have to cut, James Madison wins and covers.
All right. What do you got on this one, Jude?
James, I got the under, James Madison and covering.
All right. I'm taking JMU. They're going to cover, and I'm going to take the under as well. All right. At 2:30 p.m. on the three-letter network ABC from DKR, Texas Memorial Stadium in beautiful, lovely, wonderful Austin, Texas. The number 24 ranked Kansas Jayhawks travel down to take on the number 3 ranked Texas Longhorns. And if you want to know a little fact here, the last 2 times Kansas has been to Austin, it has not worked out well for the Longhorns. Does it change this week, Hunter?
Gosh, I hate doing this. I hate having to do this. I hate picking Texas games. I hate talking about Texas because
all right. Then you can
I'm such a
abstain.
fan. But I
abstain.
will get involved. I always do. I say Texas wins. Do they cover that big spread? I don't think so. I'd love if they did. That'd be awesome. But I've got to go with the Horns here. Everything in my heart says the Horns will win. I think it'll be a tough game, though. Kansas is looking to make it tough. Texas inevitably will have to have it look tough. But I got to go with the Horns here. I'm not gonna give you a score. I just say I think the Horns win.
All
Go
right,
Horns.
Jude, what do you got on this game? Does Texas cover? Texas is favored by 16.5. There's the Vegas thing, 61.5 total points.
I'm definitely taking the over on this. I think Texas wins, but they don't cover. I'm look. You said 61 over under. Look at a 41-31 game or something like that.
I'm gonna say right now, I'm gonna go ahead and say the Horns cover. I'm gonna take the over, and they're gonna get the outright win. A little stat to, if you want to have a, what do they call that during the Super Bowl? They have those little bets where you can make, what are those called?
Oh, the props.
Prop bet. I'm gonna have a prop bet. Texas is plus or minus 5 sacks in the game. That's gonna be a prop bet. This is the exact offense that Texas defense is built to go and make a lot of tackles. I think Jalen Daniels is a phenomenal athlete. He's gonna see some tremendous amounts of pressure. I hope Hunter's not covering the phone to escape me, but that's my pick. Kansas is a good team, and they're definitely, it's gonna be a hard game. But Texas hasn't played a complete game yet this season, and this should be the first one of the season. Take care of it. Handle your business is what Texas needs to do. All right. At 5 p.m. on the Four Letter Network, ESPN, from Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi, the number 13 LSU Tigers travel to take on Jude's Ole Miss Rebels. Vegas says that Ole Miss is an underdog and LSU's favored by 2.5, and the over/under on this game is 67.5 points. Jude, quickly, who's winning this game, and what is Vegas right or wrong?
Take the over. Ole Miss is not going to get boxed up, and score. What they score 10 points or something like that again. Definitely take the over, and take Ole Miss to cover. So that's my pick.
All right, Hunter, what do you got on LSU and Ole Miss?
LSU's been playing down all year. Ole Miss had an opportunity though to go and steal the West, and they let it drop. So, I mean, I'd have to say that I'm gonna have to go with LSU on this one. They're just the more complete team, at least from my viewpoint. I'm a big believer in LSU still, even though they've been playing down all year, and they're really starting to make me question it. So I'm gonna go with LSU. I don't know how you want to slice it, but LSU wins. Probably a close game. LSU's only been in close games so far this year, so LSU wins it close.
All right, I'm taking LSU to cover. They're going to win, but I'm definitely taking the under.
Well, they've busted the
Stadium
over every game.
Durham,
so far
North
this year,
Carolina,
so.
at 6:30 p.m. on the ABC network. We have the number 11 Notre Dame Fighting Irish traveling to number 17 Duke Blue Devils. Is Duke the best team in the ACC? That'd be the Atlantic Coast Conference. And Vegas says Notre Dame is favored by 5.5, and 52.5 points is the over/under. Hunter, let's say, what do you think?
Notre Dame needs to play with 11 guys on the field every play. No, I mean, I think Notre Dame, for their part, this is kind of a make-or-break game for them for this season. They still have an opportunity to reach the CFP, an outside chance now because, of course, they lost. But they have to win this game. You cannot lose to Duke, no matter who you are. Even Duke could win the national championship. You're not allowed to lose to Duke. Notre Dame, for their part, needs to win this game if they want any sort of opportunity at the CFP this year. And this is probably their best opportunity to make the CFP and win a game in the CFP with Sam Hartman at quarterback. They need to figure it out, and
All right.
they need to beat Duke. So I don't have a score. I just say Notre Dame wins, probably 21-14.
All right, Jude. What do you got on this game? Vegas says 5.5 point favorite for Notre Dame, 52.5 points overall.
All right, I'm taking Duke to win outright, so they're obviously going to cover the spread, and I'm taking the under only because Notre Dame's only going to score like 10 or 13 points. I think it'll be 35-13, 35-10. I think Notre Dame played too close of a game, too much of a letdown. They think their season's over, and after this week, it probably is. So I'll take Duke to win outright, and I'll take the under.
All right. Notre Dame's getting off the schneid, in my opinion. Notre Dame's going to cover. They're going to get the outright win, and I'm going to take the over. Notre Dame's offense is going to score a ton of points this week. You just can't be held down that long and not be great. I think they played too conservative last week. They're going to realize that. They're going to come out. They're going to beat Duke, and it's not going to be close. All right. In our final head-to-head pick'em game from Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth, Texas, we have the West Virginia Mountaineers traveling to take on the TCU Horned Frogs. Quickly, Hunter, give me your assessment of this. TCU's favored by 14 points, and Vegas is only saying there's going to be scored 52 total points. What do you think on this one, bud?
I mean, it could be. I think this might be a low-scoring game. West Virginia's defense is playing really well. West Virginia is a very run-heavy team. And I think that plays in their advantage against TCU. As long as they can run the ball on TCU, West Virginia has a chance to keep this game close, if not win it. I'm going to say 28-21 TCU, though, because they do have a little bit better. They have a significantly better offense. But I could definitely see this game going in West Virginia's favor if the ball bounces the right way.
All right, Jude, what do you got here?
I'm going to take TCU to cover, but I'm going to take the under because, like Hunter said, they just run the ball way too much, and they'll have some decent ball control. They won't allow TCU to put the points up, but they're not going to put a bunch of points up against TCU either. So I like TCU, something like 31-20 or 31-17, something like that.
Yeah, I got TCU to cover. They're going to get the win, and they're going to score more than the 50.5 total, or the 52.5 points. All right, so something new I'm going to add to it. We just got to pick up our pace a little bit because we are in the overtime. We got some fun stuff going up in the overtime, but we got a couple of things to talk about first, and that is our G5 game of the week, and it's so great that we have 2 G5 games of the week. Let's start off with our number 2 G5 game of the week, and that's from, I got to get some glasses here. I can't see. It's from the University of Monroe Warhawk Stadium. I don't know what it's called. I can't read it. I have too much pen writing on my piece of paper right here. They are hosting the App State Mountaineers. App State travels to UL Monroe. Now, this is an interesting game because I have App State winning the game, but I have UL Monroe covering. I don't think App State's going to blow them out. And then definitely going to take the under. There's no way they're scoring 50.5 points. Jude, what do you think on this game?
App State in the under. App State's just a good team. Louisiana and Monroe, I don't think it's going to be able to hang with them. But I don't think they're going to run away with it either. But I'll take App State. I'll take the under.
All right, Hunter, what do you got? You're the G5 expert of the crowd.
UL Monroe's been playing good football so far, but App State is always on another level. But I don't like that spread of minus 14.5. I really don't. I'll be keeping 100% honest here. I think UL Monroe covers, absolutely. I think take the over, take UL Monroe to cover, but I say App State wins. They're just a bit more of a seasoned team, you know. They know high level success, right? They know what that's like, and they're used to it. They expect it, and I think that plays well for them. So App State to win, but UL Monroe to cover and the over.
Should I do this one in the radio announcer voice? Should I go all radio announcer voice on this next game, on our G5 game of the week?
Go for it.
All right. Hunter looks tired, so we're going to get this done. You got about 6 minutes left, bud. All right. Can you hang in there?
I'll
6 more
make it.
minutes?
I'll make it.
All right. From Jones C. Edwards Stadium in Huntington, West Virginia, the University of Old Dominion goes and travels to Marshall to take on the Thundering Herd. This is at 2:30 p.m. from on the ESPN, that 4-letter network. Marshall's favored by 14.5. This is a 47.5 point spread. What do you got on this one, Jude?
I'm going to pick I'll take the over and I'll take Marshall. You said they're favored by 14.5,
Yep, and they're undefeated.
and they're undefeated. Yeah, I like Marshall to cover and to take the over.
All right, Hunter, what do you got here, bud?
Well, Old Dominion it struggled mightily against Texas A&M Corpus Christi last week. It was
Commerce.
bad. Commerce, whatever.
Yeah.
Baby A&M. I did go to A&M. I got confused because I went to A&M Corpus Christi. Anyway, for a cup of coffee. Anyway, so Marshall looks like the best team in the G5. They look like they've beaten one Power 5 team. They beat Virginia Tech last week, dominating fashion. I see no reason why not for them to not dominate again. They cover that 14-point spread. They hit the over, probably 42-14 Marshall.
All right. I like the Herd to cover. I like the Herd to win. I like the Herd to score a lot of points. There's going to be a lot of the Herd all day long. All right. That's going to do the show. And remember to tip your waitress. I'm kidding. We have the game of the week that does not matter. So what's on Cass's mind? Hunter, your first guess is?
Sam Houston State versus Jacksonville State.
That game's going on right now. I can't pick a current game. I have to pick a futures game. Jude, your first guess.
Well, I picked one game from each day, today, tomorrow, and Saturday. So I also picked that game. I'll say, how about Louisiana Tech at UTEP?
That is incorrect. All right, Hunter, second guess.
Utah State at UConn.
That's the other one.
Also incorrect.
Oh man, my three were Jackson State versus Sam Houston, Louisville at UTEP, and Utah State at UConn.
Jude, I hate to say this, you are not the big winner this week.
Oh,
Hunter,
man.
what do you got, bud?
Utah Tech at Colorado State.
Nope.
All right. Charlotte at SMU.
I'm going to give each y'all one last pick because we got like about 2 minutes to fill here. So I'll let y'all pick for 2 minutes. Everybody, we'll do it at a time pick. Everybody's on the schedule right now. Are there anybody in the chat? Anybody ringed in the chat, Jude?
How about no? I've been keeping up with the chat. I've been trying to, anyways. But how about Arkansas State at UMass?
That is my G5 or my game of the week that does not matter. It's a 1.5 point spread. UMass is favored in this game. Hunter already talked about it. So if you want to know what an expert thinks about a group of 5 game, I went with UMass and Arkansas State. I'm never going to pick a Butch Jones team. I'm going UMass, and the over-under is 56.5. UMass is going to cover. They're going to get the win, and they're not going to score anywhere near 56.5 points between the two of them. So, Jude,
my final
2
score
weeks
prediction.
in a row.
UMass 13, Arkansas State 12. All field goals. Somehow they have a 4-point field goal. You figure it out.
Oh, man. I can't believe we got this show in. Whew. Close. Very close. All right. Jude, it looks like we had a lot of chats tonight. I have not been in the chat. I've been running crazy trying to carry all this stuff.
I don't think a single question went by that I didn't reply to, guys.
All right.
Wait,
well,
sorry,
I got
JWC Tech, thanks for the compliment on the shirt.
Yep.
Oh, it is Coors. I thought that was the Lowenbrow. Doesn't that kind of look like the Lowenbrow Dragon?
A little bit. Kind of.
It's the Coors Lion.
Oh, okay.
Hunter, you're on one coast and Jude's on another. It's really far to see. I like to thank everybody in the chat. I'm gonna have to thank our panelists for showing up. And hey, most importantly, we gotta send a shout out to our buddy Lindsay, or Pappy Lindsay, as we're gonna call him from now on. Golf clap for Pappy Lindsay. Everybody, golf clap. All right, good job. Great show, guys. It's time to wrap it up. Hunter, I'm gonna let you go ahead and go first, since you look like you need the most rest.
So just thank y'all for watching. Shout out to everybody. Bocce, JWC Tech, let's see, who else? Pat Paulson, everyone, Diabolical 58. If you're still watching, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Tell your friends, tell your friends, tell your friends. And as always, in order of importance, go Navy, beat Army, hug 'em horns, and most importantly, eat 'em up cats, beat the Golden Eagles.
All right, he says the West Coast is the best coast. It's Power Stroke. Or I'm sorry, it's cool. Jude Santa Cruz. Sorry, don't want them to get confused with your alter ego here.
Yeah. What's up, everyone? Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys had a good time. Thank you for getting us to 50 subscribers. And I hope you guys enjoy when we start having our guests coming on. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let me say goodnight for the night. Fight on, we are SC, and V is for victory. But always remember, you cannot spell SEC without the letters S and C. Good night, everyone.
Really, we should end the show with Jude doing that, but instead we put my ugly mug on the deal. And I'm going to tell y'all, and from the wing of mediocrity of the Youth Football Hall of Fame, I'm your host, Coach Cass, saying the team that scores the most points always wins the game. Thanks for watching.
Good night, everyone.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not.